thinking about and taking care of themselves like early in life, because it makes such a difference as you age. And I guarantee, like, if you asked any of our older members, like, they would tell you, man, I wish I had started this when I was, 30 years old. So it's awesome that he's here. He's learning. He wants to know the method behind the madness, which is cool. Like, I love the education component of it. So
wants to be better.
We should
all want to be better.
That's
Let's
right.
go, TJ.
All right, TJ, keep up the great work, man. Okay, guys, let's talk about HRT for men. Hormone replacement therapy for men. Obviously testosterone is going to kind of dominate the conversation here. Men do have estrogen, or what would be considered estradiol, but very, very little. So women, have testosterone as kind of the prevalent hormone in their body. A lot of people don't know that. And then they just have estrogen, progesterone, at, levels that are lower than testosterone, but still obviously like more than men, and men have the estradiol. But, if everything is functioning properly, then they shouldn't have very much of the estradiol. And then, women do have luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which really kind of controls like their period and fertility. But men also have S and FSH. I'm sorry, LH and FSH, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. And those really just are like hormones that stimulate the testes to make testosterone. That's the function in a male. And then a really also important hormone is sex hormone-binding globulin, which women also have. In men, it really controls, it does both in men and women, but in men, it usually is something that we look at a little bit more closely because it binds to the sex hormones and is determining how much is free and active and usable by your body. So one thing that is really kind of common with men is we'll get blood work done and we'll look at the total testosterone, and you in a normal range, will be 600 on the low end, and then up to really kind of double that would be considered decent. It could get up to like 1400 would be, kind of the higher end. Nowadays, I think it was a little bit, we've kind of declined on our natural testosterone, but everybody will look at that total number and then they go, hey, my levels are low, normal, high. And they don't know to look at the free testosterone and the sex binding hormone globulin, sex hormone binding globulin, which will determine how much testosterone your body can use, which is more important than the overall total number. Because if you have, let's say, 900, your testosterone is 900 total, but your free testosterone is like 1% of that, then that's low. And so you would go, hey, the total is good here, but you're not able to access that. And so it's not good. You should be at 2%. Your free testosterone should be at 2% of your total number. And so you have to look at both of those in combination to know like, hey, this looks good or this doesn't look good. And so that's something that if you're going to get blood work done, and you're considering doing some like TRT, well, is your total number low or is the free low? And then how we address each one of those is a little bit different in terms of like what the protocol would be, what like type of medication, hormone replacement therapy, you're actually going to get. So it's just something important to understand. But I guess, with our society now and the decline of testosterone, men that are younger and younger are going on TRT.
Right. Yeah. Like
And
30s, in their 30s.
yeah, in their 30s now, which is insane and really kind of sad, you know? And so you have to wonder, like, well, what's going on that's causing all of this? And something we didn't necessarily talk about in the women's episode, we went through so much stuff, but we didn't really talk about endocrine disruptors.
Right. Yeah.
And so this is a problem in women, but it's a massive problem in men, because a lot of the products that we use day to day are pseudoestrogens.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at,
Like anything with
shampoo,
like fake fragrances. Yeah, fragrances.
fragrances,
Yeah.
there plastics in foods. If you heat your food up, microwave your food in plastic, like you're going to get pseudoestrogens, lotions, really anything that's like topical. A lot of times will be like a hormone or endocrine disruptor.
Yeah. Cleaning sprays, candles, like anything. Things like
candles
everyday.
are terrible.
Detergent, laundry. I mean, the list
Laundry
goes on, guys.
There's like, there's 80,000 million of these that you are exposed to on a day-to-day basis, which are hurting your testosterone, increasing your estrogen. And so a lot of times, even men with decent testosterone levels are estrifying that testosterone. And if you have that issue going on, taking testosterone replacement therapy will actually make your estrogen levels worse, because you would think, oh, I'm going to outdo this, but then your estrogen skyrockets and then you grow breasts.
Facts.
Yeah, fact. Yeah. So that's what happens. And so it's also important to know, like, okay, what's going on, from an estrogen standpoint in your body too. Are you estrifying the testosterone? So let's see here. What do we want to say? Symptoms, I guess. Like if you are experiencing these things, then you need to go talk to your doctor and get some blood work done, right? And we have a great medical team here that does blood work and looks at your hormone levels and all these things. So we can talk about some of the, things you want to be aware of, but important, if you do go and get your testosterone checked, you only want to do TRT if you get your testosterone levels checked on 2 separate mornings and it's low on both. So one test alone will not determine, like, hey, this is an issue. So you need multiple tests to see. Now there's other kind of things that we can look at to determine, like, oh yeah, this is an issue. But to be safe, you really want to have 2 separate tests on 2 different occasions and then compare them. Because there can be some fluctuation in these. But if you don't feel good, energy levels are really low, fatigue, if you're trying to work out and just don't feel good at all working out, like testosterone should make effort feel good.
Right.
And so you should work out and you should kind of like be like, man, this is really enjoyable for me. If you're a male and that's not, exercise and physical activity isn't, that's a really good indication that your testosterone levels are low. Libido, right, is important. Erectile dysfunction can be, if you're experiencing that, there's obviously something wrong. If your mood is not good, or if you're retaining excess belly fat,
water retention
is something. Yeah. So there can be some like signs of this of low testosterone, but I would say most importantly, like if you just really don't feel good day to day, energy levels are really low. Of course, like a lot of that could be dietary or whatever, but if we fix those things and then you still don't see improvement, we got to get it checked out.
Yeah.
So, some natural things
natural things people can do
that they can do that I would say like, hey, fix these first.
Right.
Because like TRT isn't without its side effects.
Yeah.
You know, I would almost recommend for women hormone replacement therapy, more without reserve than I would TRT for men.
Yeah.
You know, prostate cancer can be an issue. I feel like there's more risk with men than there are with women.
Yeah.
That's my kind of observation on it. But
Yeah.
like what should men do to just like, hey, let's fix this naturally and optimize our levels before we would just like start taking TRT.
Making sure we're getting enough sleep every night, like good quality sleep, right? Not just, I got 3 solid hours of sleep, try and aim a little higher than that, 7, hopefully 6, 7, 8. Strength training, obviously making it here to your sessions, getting your few workouts in a week, and then, limiting your alcohol intake where you can, managing your stress, things that are just...
Alcohol will destroy your testosterone.
It will destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, guys.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
Just another attack on alcohol. We won't go there.
And then sunlight, making sure if you can get some morning sunlight, afternoon or, early evening sunlight, that'll help. And then taking vitamin D if we can, vitamin D and K2, that'll help if we're not getting enough sunshine, enough sunlight. So in terms of supplements, those are good ones to look at too, right?
Protein and fats. Yeah. So high protein diet, at least your body weight in grams of protein. And then you also should have some healthy fats in there in your diet as well. Your sex hormones, we covered this with the women, but like same exact process with men. Cholesterol is the precursor to your testosterone, to estradiol, to cortisol. And so if you go on a low fat diet, which it is so recommended now because of high cholesterol. And we're just, guys, we did an episode a long time ago on cholesterol and really kind of like what you need to know there. Doctors are prescribing statins like they're candy, and you don't need that most likely, so I would do some research on that and actually figure out like, hey, is this an issue? Because I would bet that it's not an issue and that you shouldn't be taking a statin because the statins are not without their side effects. Statins can actually hurt your testosterone hormone levels. And so you need to be consuming healthy fats. If you're consuming like, garbage fats, then that's going to create a problem. But your triglyceride levels are much more important to look at than your cholesterol, your HDL and LDL levels. And if you're going low fat, then you're going to have low testosterone. It's just going to happen. Right. So get your protein in, get your healthy fats in. Your body needs that. Same, like you said, vitamin D, zinc.
Real food.
Eat real food versus processed foods, right? Yeah. Zinc, magnesium, creatine is a really great supplement. Tonga Ally is an herb that you can take that will help boost testosterone levels. Boron, you can supplement with boron. That will help naturally boost testosterone levels as well. So if you're doing all these things and, excess weight will suppress your testosterone levels. So if you're a healthy weight, you live a healthy lifestyle, and then you just still don't feel great, go get your blood work done. See what your levels are. See what your total testosterone is, what your free testosterone is. Look at your sex hormone binding globulin. If it's really high and you don't have access to free testosterone, then it's like, hey, let's bring that down a little bit, and that's gonna pretty quickly make you feel pretty good, right? Let's talk about mechanisms. So we talked about this a lot with the women. With the testosterone, there's kind of two different ways to get it. For men, I think topicals are starting to kind of become a thing, but But I don't know much about that. Maybe one or two people have mentioned something, and I don't know anything about that. So I won't talk about that. Traditional is a pellet or injections. Yeah. I'm anti-pellet. It gets you all jacked up. They're time released, but still it gets you all jacked up where your testosterone levels will be like 1,600 out of the gate.
It's crazy, yeah.
And you'll be like a madman feeling awesome and like a machine. And then after, several weeks as the dosage depreciates, as this pellet's running out, you'll start to feel really bad, and you'll mood swings, your energy levels are low again, and it's like, oh, it's time to go get another pellet. And then you'll get a pellet and you feel amazing again. And then that's just a roller coaster. It's like, why live like that? I don't think that's good at all. Injections are much more common now for people, and that would be my recommendation. And where it's like, hey, you should jab yourself in the butt, once or twice a week, or once every other week, whatever is kind of recommended by the doctor. I do think that the lower dosage more frequently, from what I've seen, seems to be a better method than spacing them out. So, do your own research, talk to your doctor about that. But if you're going to do it, if it were going to be me, which I don't do any hormone replacement therapy, I don't have a need for it at this point. I do get my blood checked. But if I were going to do it, I would be looking at doing at a minimum like a weekly injection at a very low level. So, but if you're a man that's aging, you're, 60 years old plus, and it's like you want to feel really good, stay, healthy and active, I would absolutely consider doing HRT, right?
Yeah.
I would do it. You don't need to be all like, juiced up and overdo it, but just feel good and optimal as you age and stay strong. Keep as much muscle mass as you can, because from a morbidity standpoint, that's so important. Keep your strength. There's absolutely no reason for anybody to be, on the decline until they're, 80 years old. And then maybe
Right.
It's like, okay, this doesn't necessarily make sense. For you younger men that are looking at this, fix your lifestyle first. If you go and get some of this stuff on the black market and you're doing steroids, or, think you're going to get the same thing that would be like medical grade, and you're just, getting it from the guy behind the, gym, whatever, very likely that you're going to be infertile. You will never have children. So don't be stupid and go and do that. And, it's really important that, like, if you overdo it, not only can you be infertile, but you may never be able to come off of hormone
Right.
replacement therapy, because your body's going to be dependent on that. So when we dose with this, I say when someone doses with hormone replacement therapy, you want the minimal amount to encourage your body to produce testosterone naturally. You do not want it to take over.
Right.
And so we're not trying to become reliant on this. We want to give our body a little boost and then increase our amounts. And if possible, stop doing it, or at least keep it at the minimal viable dosage. So, all right, that's all we got for you. We'll be back next week with more great stuff. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale Podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.